love already gone. Only a fool breaks its own heart.
Mighty Sparrow was in Nederland en RAZO en met name MJ Glans organiseerde een interview met hem. We hebben al eens een stukje uitgezonden, maar nu een groter en langer interview met Mighty Sparrow. De Calypso King.
Hier ook in de studio van RAZO is het heel erg druk en gezellig. De catering is verzorgd door Patrick's Catering hier beneden in Eefdink. En we worden natuurlijk erg vertroeteld omdat de Mighty Sparrow hemzelf hier aanwezig is. Goed, we hadden het in het vorige uur over een aantal zaken met betrekking tot Trinidad en het carnaval en de prijs die hij daar gewonnen heeft, onder andere de Road March. Dat is de carnavalsoptocht eigenlijk, waarbij het populairste nummer gekwalificeerd wordt voor een prijs. En hij heeft dat een aantal malen gewonnen. Ik dacht 11 times you won the Road March competition and 8 times you became
No, you mix it up. 8 times Road March champion, 11 times monarch. The only man who won more Road March titles than me, I'm second to him, is Lord Kitchener. But I've also defeated him resoundingly when it comes to the monarch title. So it shows his strength is in the Road March, and it would appear that my strength is in both areas, but more in the monarch title.
Yes. Okay, let's go to the importance of your whole work for music, for mankind in general. What do you think yourself about that?
The importance of my being in the business.
Well, I think it's a legacy. You make a lot of people very happy.
I know, but even so, I don't take myself all that seriously to try to either impress others or try to give myself consolation that I have all the answers for everything. I am an entertainer. I'm a social commentator. I'm one of these guys that get involved in the bravado category where I boast of what my powers and what I can do and what I, sometimes it's just being braggadocious. But again, it's with the intention to entertain and to amuse the audience. And I'm sure they all know that when I talk about me being the village ram.
But still, giving lessons in love and messages about.
Of course.
And so
I'm
on.
saying, and I do these things because I am a concerned citizen. I see myself, in addition to everything else, as a concerned.
You have overgrown Trinidad, by saying that? You have overgrown Trinidad? I'm thinking about AIDS, Afraid AIDS. I'm thinking about Invade South Africa, Free Nelson Mandela. I'm thinking about This Is Madness. I'm thinking about Calypso.
Yes, well, they all
capitalism as one mad.
Yes, the Calypso, yeah, but it all corroborates what I'm saying. I make meaningful comments on these things because I am a concerned villager and would like to see things better in my village, in my country, in my area. I make these observations and I put it out there and I try to do it in a sort of light-hearted way, entertaining enough so that people will not get their attention span turned off. You know, it's always with a touch of humor. And sometimes the humor is in the actual seriousness of it, the irony of it. Because when you think about the cost of things, you know, capitalism gone mad. One nylon panty costs $19.90, so much and so much for a tin of milk and all kind of thing. I mean, it's sort of madness. It's crazy for people to be going through that sort of thing. So even though that's the fact, to me it's humorous. And I try to present it in such a way that people can be shocked and be amused and amazed at the same time.
Yes, but you're also relativating yourself because you have not only won a lot of prizes with the road march and so on, but also you are in the Hall of Fame. There is a certain day, the 18th of March, which is the Sparrow Day in Detroit and also
in New York.
In New York.
Yeah, but listen, don't get me wrong.
But
I am not all that immodest.
No, I know.
I told you about
But
the
still.
bravado category, which tells you how I used the braggadocious side of me. So I'm not immodest. But what I'm telling you, because life is such a serious thing, and there's so many important things going on, that if one would think that he has all the answers, that, you know, he becomes another Slobodan. You understand?
That would be my,
Oh,
my
another-
last question, asking you if you are going to compose a song about Kosovo.
Well, I have to make mention of what's happening in the world. And if you listen carefully, I told you about the Shah of Iran, fight so hard to survive, he was wanted dead or alive, and Idi Amin, etc., etc. So there is no, and you know, like in Haiti, General Cedras Koui, so now Aristide, who now lead, etc., etc. Because I am concerned, I am a concerned person in my village. I don't want to consider myself concerned world leader. I'm not that. I'm not even a leader in my country. I am just a concerned person in my village.
But still, that's why I say you're relativating things. That in 1987, when you came back from the national tour in Africa, Nigeria, you received the honorable.
Or the honorary.
You are Dr.
Well, no, I got the honorary.
Francisco.
I got the honorary doctorate degree from the University of the West Indies.
Yes.
But I got
And then,
from
at the same
Nigeria. I got honorary chieftaincy
Yes.
from Chief Omowali of Ikoyi. You understand? All these things are honorary, and it's beautiful that the universities of the different parts of the world will get involved and show some sort of concern to entertainers, because this sort of thing.
I don't think that's true, because students in the physical doctors, you know, to become physical doctors, they study your material, your lyrics.
Espera un momentito, por favor, Pebuchu.
They study your lyrics, you know, individual or in groups, and that's why there is a sparrow lecture, something like studying what you say.
Well, I know, but I hope we are not sounding argumentative here. What I'm saying to you is that this music, calypso music, has
It's
been
about life.
Well, you're not giving me a chance to
Okay.
say what I want to say. It is about life, but what I was about to say is not that. I'm trying to say that calypso music has been around for the longest while. There were many great calypsonians, people who made great contribution and so on, but were never recognized by these high incubators of knowledge and wisdom, universities and colleges and so on. And it so happened that the Mighty Sparrow was able to generate a certain interest in these high incubators of knowledge and wisdom, to the point where they can come out, or they have come out, and show some concern. Now, this is just the beginning. I don't think that I'm the only one that was deserving of it, because I was not the only one who made a meaningful contribution. There are several others, but they started with me, and I'm pretty certain that they will continue later on with other calypsonians. And this is not to say that I don't feel good and great about it. I don't want to give you that impression. I do feel good.
That's true. Okay.
Nice.
Edgar is still with us, and he played with you several times. I heard. Maybe it's nice to tell us how you feel when you're being on stage with the Mighty Sparrow.
I want to say I have very much compliments for you, because my mother, she is now 79 and she was a fan of you. I am a fan of you, and also my children. So I think you have grown out 4 generations of people, 4 generations, and I think
That's quite an achievement. That's quite an achievement. I want to give myself a round of applause.
Yeah.
Four generations of fans.
4 generations.
Hey.
I don't know if you got that compliment before.
Just let them know that God is not my stepfather.
I think this, you have grown over 4 generations, and that is, I think, is one of the best compliments you can get. And you know that is true.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
One of the songs of my mother was Meme.
And I would like to explain one of the reasons for that. Okay, it's just like anything else. You see, I started at a particular point, and it didn't take me very long to make a hit. Okay, like I said before, there were no precedents set by the other Calypsonians to get certain points across and to show certain examples. You know, they were good Calypsonians, but they were into themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, they never got out into the community and tried to be, like I said, a concerned villager and to voice their opinions, put their neck out and take chances. And I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a result of that, I started making fans from very early. And it's pretty much like people like Marshall Montano and some of the others at this point. They have fans from very early. Now, if they stay in the business as long as I have, you would find that maybe they'll be able to do it too, and even more. But I'm glad to say that you know, as I made a hit very early in my career, and I've never looked back from since then. So hence the reason I was able to influence in some way 4 generations, and right now I'm working on the 5th generation.
Yeah, I think. Yourself? Yourself, or you let somebody do it?
No.
But that's why I say, I'm just admiring you, and I took a lot of, I see you as a godfather, where I take a lot of experience. A smaller way, I'm doing the same things.
When you say godfather, you're not talking about Don Corleone.
No. Yes, I took
I can't help it.
Yeah. I just always see you as a good, you know, your experience you have. A model.
Yeah, I understand.
I use it in what I'm doing.
Thank you very much.
That's why I want to ask you one thing. You know, some years ago, 10 years ago, there was the woman emancipation, liberation. You didn't get a problems with that, because Calypsonian is what you see, you're singing about. You don't have the time that the women are, all the songs you're doing, they say, yeah, you sing bad about women also, because they don't see the joke or the essence of what you were telling in your story. Just a small, if I give an experience, a song, Sell the Pussy, you know? Sell the Pussycat, you know? Yeah, this is what's happening if you got a wife at home, and you ain't got no money to eat, but the woman is looking, say, at the bold and the beautiful, you know?
No, but wait a minute. No, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
When you say, I mean, I'm not trying to defend myself and to paint myself as holier than anybody or to exempt myself from all blame.
Yeah.
But when you say I sing about women, and so I would like to point it out that anybody with good sense would realize that all the women I sing about, Gina and Dinah, Spottyfoot Pearl, Gateway Lane, this one and that one, in other countries, most of these women would have been stoned to death or hung.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of cases, some of them were only spreading disease around the city and so on. So I was doing the nation a service by identifying these people. But there are other songs that I sang about women, calling like all through your life, you will treat in your wife, and yet you expect her to obey. Brother, please take it cool. Don't be a fool. Otherwise, she will leave you and run away. Beating up the woman every minute of the day just because she's your wife. Better learn to try a little tenderness, kiss and caress is the plan, something like that. Okay?
Yeah.
So what I'm pointing out to you that there are lots of other songs that I sing in addition to some of these other women. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, so people don't pay attention to that.
The same problem I have.
They don't.
Same problem this
Okay?
time. Yeah.
Now, I found myself in a little bit of a quandary this year. As an older Calypsonian, I consider myself as the older statesman of the business, one of the older statesmen, and who have been there and done that and know what it's all about. So that's why I say I don't exempt myself. And there is a guy in Trinidad who was berating the wife of the Prime Minister, a guy by the name of Sugar Aloes, and I thought it was right to call him and say, listen, Sugar Aloes, if you want to sing on the Prime Minister because he's in politics, he's a public orator par excellence, he can defend himself. So sing on him if you feel you must. But don't bring the wife in it because she's not in politics, she just happened to be his wife. And I got more flack from that than all these other women that you talk about that I sung on in derogatory terms. You understand? So it means to say that whenever I say something nice and on behalf of women, I don't get any credit. So it's better if I stick to identifying the carriers of all sorts of diseases and so on, you know?
Yeah, but that's the problem. And also you're doing in politics, song of BG, I don't care if all of BG burned down. This was your song?
Yes.
Yeah, this was your song. I know I was a young boy, I know the problems you
Again, I was defending the woman.
Yeah. No, also politics. So woman, so you sing what's happening in the world. You're just like a troubadour. A troubadour is traveling from country to country, he's spreading the news, telling what's happening. But also...
But not only the troubadour, I come like a mirror. I'm reflecting the behavioral pattern of society. Now again, I'm not trying to exempt myself from anything, but people who know would realize what I'm saying. If the people of my vicinity would behave like priests and nuns, then I would sing those type of songs. But if you behave like prostitutes and johns, I'm going to sing those songs.
That's what I'm doing.
So now if you don't like what you hear, not you personally, but I'm talking about, not you personally, I'm talking about if those who don't like what they hear should realize that when I came from Grenada, I was very innocent, I was a baby. And everything that I learned is as a result of my environment. I am a product of my environment.
Yeah.
And I'm reflecting it back to you. I'm sorry if you don't like it.
No, we like it,
But that's what you taught me. That's what you gave me. It sounds bad, it looks bad to you. You give it to me.
Okay, Mr. Sparrow, Dr. Burke, I want to ask, I want to ask you two last questions. U luistert nog steeds naar RAZO op de 100.
You can ask as many questions as you want.
Yes.
I'm in not a hurry. If you want to get off the air, you know.
One question. Looking at the development in the music today, Calypso merged to soca, and what they call it, the lining up of the instruments, the lineup is a little different. There's synthesizers, right now. What do you think, especially the newcomers in the business are using the synthesizer instead of horns? Do you think that amusement is taking over in Calypso and Soca?
Amusement?
Yes, instead of what we are acquainted from you. Lyrics. Lyrics.
Put it this way: economics is playing a tremendous role in this business. The younger guys who tend to hang on to the synthesizer horns instead of the live horns like actual trumpet and saxophone and trombones and so on. I believe they are doing it primarily to cut down on the cost of production. Now we have a problem in that the price of progress is tremendously destructive in this case. As a result of the modern technology and advancement in technical science and so on, we are able to make CDs from a CD, copy of all different kinds, and there's a tremendous disservice happening to the actual artists as far as piracy is concerned. As a result of that, the young people in the business, young as well as old I believe, but primarily the young, are not making the kind of money that they should be making with taking into consideration their popularity. So when they realize that there is not much money in the business, instead of going the full 9 yards to use all the instruments that they would like to use, they have to try to go the cheap way. Not necessarily cheap in the sense of quality, but
Production cost, you mean?
production cost. Because why would they put out all this amount of money when the pirates are out there to destroy them? And the pirates are able to get away and elude the police. They are able to muzzle the politicians, and the decent people in society who know who they are refuse to speak out and identify them. So we are in a very precarious position here. It is not that these pirates are not known, but the decent people in society who know them, I would like to point out that their silence is deafening. The police need help, and if the pirates are identified and exposed, maybe they will be brought to justice, and maybe I'm not singling any country for this now. This is happening all over. But it's very, very, very bad when it comes to the younger ones, because remember, it's very easy to get to the top. The young people can come out with any kind of style, singing through one side of the nose, jumping on one foot, all kind of things, and they can make it to the top. Getting to the top is not a problem.
You are being produced. The
problem is staying there at the top. You see? Now you may notice that you say, okay, the Mighty Sparrow has been able to be influential and entertaining people at least for 4 generations, and Sparrow himself is bragging that he's trying to make it 5 and that type of thing. But now it is because of a love that Sparrow has for the music. The younger generations are going to be dissuaded, and they're going to lose hope and faith, and when you catch yourself, they're just going to drop out. Think about it good. a couple years ago, you couldn't hear your ears unless you listened to people like Chris Garcia. You know, very, very popular guy, and he was pirated to death. There's another guy who I thought everybody loved all over the world, the one with Dollar Wine.
Yeah, Dollar Wine. Yeah.
Dollar Wine, what's his name again? Very good friend of mine, I can't remember his name.
Not
Colin Lucas.
Colin Lucas, about David Ruler. Colin Lucas.
Colin Lucas, he was pirated to death. And when you have people like that, just being pirated to death, how do you expect them to go and put out real money to bring in the likes of people like Frankie McIntosh and Errol Ince and Leston Paul and that type of thing? So, you see? Now, those of us like myself, I consider myself one of the purists in the business. I take my chances because I'm in the business for a different reason than the younger guys. When I first came in the business, as you know, if your sister talked to a steel band man, the family want to break your hand and that type of thing. But I stuck with it. Why did I stick with it? Because I loved it. And I knew that there was something good in it, and I tried to stay and bring that goodness out. But there was no, like President said, there was nobody making any money or setting examples by leadership and that type of thing. And I had to do a tremendous lot by myself and with the help of one of my very good friends who passed away, which I have to give full credit to for helping me along the way, a guy called Lord Melody. And Lord Melody, along with Mighty Sparrow, did a tremendous lot. So here we are. The Mighty Sparrow is sort of set in his ways. I don't know how I can go the other way by bringing in synthesizer instead of saxophones and so on and so on and so on. Not that I don't like synthesizer. I think some of it is doing a very good job. So you have to blame the pirates for pushing the young fellas the inexpensive way. I didn't. You notice I didn't use the word cheap.
Okay, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations which you want to cover. You're planning some very special thing for the millennium, the year 2000, to hit Trinidad and the Calypso world, the soca world, with winning the road march next year.
Well, again, there's a little mix-up there. I wasn't thinking about winning the road march because, like I told you before, there are certain people who are so adept in manipulating what the road march will be. I do not think I can challenge them. I'm hoping that I can get involved in the monarch and win the monarch. But then again, I would really have to look and see if there are rules that's good for one, good for all. Because what I'm seeing is that the people who hand out the sheets and tell you what to do, if you need to get points, you have to come up with good lyrics and you get 30 points. Good melody, you get 30 points. Good rendition, you get 20 points. Originality, you get 10 points. Stage presentation, you get another 5 points or thereabout. If they would stick to that, I don't mind taking my chances, win, lose or draw, I'll be in there because I know what the rules are. But when I see people get on the stage and they follow the rules and do all the things that the judges or the organizers tell them to do, and they don't get points or not even an explanation as to why they didn't get the points, then I say to myself, why don't I leave these young people alone?
But do you have a composition in mind, or have you written it already?
No, not yet. I mean, this is only April month. I have to wait. I have to wait until I find more characters. Right now, I have at least. Well, I have a few characters.